Hey, everybody, welcome to the 9th episode of the Franklin County Rough Riders podcast. It's going down. Right here, let's just go down the line to my right. Here's my buddy,
Casey Brown.
And his friend and potential running for District 26 Senate,
Adam Watson.
Adam Watson. And that Yahoo on the other side of him,
Eric Sposser.
And the other guy down there on the end, our gracious host here at the Lost Diamond Ranch,
Colt Shelby.
Colt Shelby. If you don't know him, just Google his name, and quite a bit of stuff will pop up.
Don't click the videos.
Episode 9 here. We're glad to have Adam Watson on the show, and Casey, just set our people up and tell them what we're going to do tonight.
Well, we're just going to have a chat with Adam here. We got a few things we want to talk about. Obviously, he's going to be running as an independent.
Independent.
Oh, what is that?
Independent in Arkansas.
I don't even think I spelled that right.
It's just
looking.
Hey, that's what you got.
I did good, huh? Let's have a spelling bee when this is over.
Go ahead. We'll give him a hard time here in a minute. Adam, introduce yourself a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about what you have gotten yourself into running for District 26.
Yeah, I mean, what a mess overall, right?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Well, look, I think as everybody knows in the room, we all kind of jumped in and tried to figure out what we could do as soon as this prison stuff kicked off. And through that, we started Gravel and Grit, the founding director over there, and we've just done an inordinate amount of work trying to organize against and oppose this thing. And through doing that work, we've seen a lot of issues.
Oh, man.
I will say this. So when we first got there, we were all like, what are we going to do? Cody, I'm calling Cody. What are we going to do? Duke's calling me. What are we going to do? We're all sitting there just like, man, what is going on here? And Adam, being the organizer, I'd say
the calm to the storm.
He pretty much organized what got us started.
Yeah, and that's honestly, that's why I jumped in, because, before we moved up here, I was in law as a paralegal for 12, 15, some odd years. And we saw everything that was being announced, and we went to the town hall, my wife and I, and then got back and sat down on the couch one night and just said, also, like I think everybody in this room, we weren't raised to not do something if you can. If you help, you get up.
Right.
And you don't sit on the couch and complain if there's something to be done. So when we saw the community trying to come together and figure out exactly that, what to do, I thought I had some skills that I could lend, and honestly, it just snowballed from there.
Well, and Adam, you and your family have a little baby.
We do,
and y'all are kind of the part of the epitome of what I thought. Here y'all come from Harris County, Texas. That's Houston area. I say this, and I'm not trying to add to it or whatever, but you pick up everything you got. You bring all your savings. You bring everything. You move. You see a spot in Franklin County. I think you said you called Ricky Bowman, and you moved here.
Yeah.
And then just days, weeks, months later, you hear this, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, now your kid, which you live right below a hill, so now your baby growing up is going to have all that traffic coming through, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And Tickle Belly Hills, if you don't know where that is, you need to go try it about 50 mile an hour. But
who hasn't?
You only went to 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, which is, I think, a problem in and of itself.
Yeah, at 50 you get air.
That's right in front of the house. That's maybe a little too fast.
Yeah.
But I had the old Danger Ranger.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, real quick, because I want to give some props to Taylor and your baby, and just talk a little bit about them and just your family and everything, what you decided to do, and why you decided to move to Franklin County.
Yeah, no, my family's fantastic. Taylor's been an enormous support system throughout all of this.
Sure.
Not only having to take care of, Sterling will be 2 in January, so taking care of a toddler on a farm.
Let's talk about his farm. Has anybody seen Adam's farm? So imagine, Adam, you lived in the city most of your life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I guess you didn't have a farm there.
No, it's the city.
I know.
Yeah.
When I go to Adam's house, I see pretty much old McDonald's farm. He's
I
got
love it.
pot-bellied pigs running
Absolutely.
around. He's got regular pigs running around. He's got chickens. Then I look over there, there's his boy. He's drinking out of the chicken bowl. I'm like, man,
I love it.
barefoot, chicken poop going between the toes. You name it.
Dang.
He's living.
Arkansas.
That's right.
Well, and look to your point about why'd we move up here? There were some business decisions at play, and it needing to build a new our plant, which is also down on my property, somewhere, and we were trying to figure out where that was going to be.
Yeah.
And at this point, we hadn't had the kid. It was just my wife and I, and we settled on this place because it is really idyllic, and it is. I've heard this from people in the state since we got more involved in everything. Is that it's kind of one of those last like Everytown USA
Sure.
Stars at Night,
Sure.
Veterans Day parade. It's
Well,
just a great peaceful place to be. So we moved, and it very much is picking up everything. We
Yeah.
had a small farm because we had moved outside of Houston proper. So we had to move up animals, equipment, regular moving, all of that's a pain.
Lots of animals.
Yeah.
yeah. Hey,
Who is it that likes the animals? Is that you or is that Taylor?
Well, she's ridden and shown horses her whole life. And then once we got a little bit of land, I was like, I like this. I want to get some cows and try out the cows. And then we had the kid, and he gets obsessed with ducks. So you have
Now you got a whole
have
yard
some
full of
land, you
ducks.
go buy him some ducks.
You know what? I think Adam is explaining the American dream.
That's what it is.
It is to me. It is to
What it
me.
sounds like.
It'd be no different than somebody, wanting a hunter wanting to move his family out in the middle of Montana and live in the mountains, and that's their dream. And obviously somebody in New York City that doesn't even own a car, that DoorDashes and Ubers everywhere, are like, because we got asked this when we were doing interviews, when they'd come to the prison property, they're like, well, how long does it take your Uber? I'm like, Uber?
No.
But where do you DoorDash? And, I mean, we're trying to explain to people why we want to live here.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. I mean,
It is.
kids.
And
Yeah.
on Uber specifically, we did think we might be able to order a pizza or something, but all of it's a no-go. All of it's a no-go, which is fine.
You
And
don't
look,
have to order. Branch Quick Stop has pizza.
There you go.
That's a good point.
Well, you
That's
call
a
your
good point.
neighbor and say, hey, would you pick me up a pizza when
Yeah.
you're coming through? But,
See all these little tips and tricks we're picking up on. But we got up here and we moved December of 22. We had Sterling December of 24. And then prison was announced in October. So he was just 10 months.
when
old.
was he born?
January 24.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he'll be
I-
2 this coming January.
That poor baby has been to, by the time he's 2, will have been to more public meetings and take action deals
Than I did by the time I was 30.
I know. He was in a little car seat when we first started having some of our meetings. They'd bring him in a little car seat and set him over, and then next thing I see, you're at the Capitol when you're filing for
Holding his
office
hand,
and holding his
walking
hand. I was
around,
like,
yeah.
now that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And
That's
look,
cool.
I mean, that dovetails into some of the other work that I've gotten involved in. Tangential to the prison is Arkansas Civic Action Network. I sit on their board as the vice chair, and they do civic engagement and civic education opportunities all over the state to help make sure people know how to vote, how to get in touch with their legislators, how to talk to people and participate in the process. And that, I think, as we've all learned, that's such an extremely important thing. So, there's plenty of downsides to what I'm doing and my kiddo's upbringing, but one of the positives is that he'll be raised with that level of involvement and understanding the importance of it.
Right on. I like it. So, Duke, dial us in here, man. Tell us what we're going to talk about. We got Adam right here, and he's in between us. He can't get out, and we got him at the ready. So let's drill on him.
I think we start with the prison here. I think for me, like one of the bigger turning points we've seen was following your JPR that you led.
Yeah.
You know how many that changed a lot of minds. I think
Ooh,
that
yeah.
that was so well planned.
What a presentation they come up with. Holy cow.
How many documents did you go through for you?
Well, we went through, I think our last count was around 55,000, but we'll
Oh, Lord.
How many of them were BS?
thousands, tens of thousands.
Bunches.
You went through a good deal.
I
of
went
them,
through a
too.
bunch of 'em.
You know how it was? A whole page for email signature.
Yeah. A phone number.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we went through plenty of stuff, but I think we ended up presenting 151 exhibits
Is that what it was?
between different documents,
It was
photos, emails.
If anybody hasn't seen the JPR, look it up on YouTube. It's on there. Contact me, Cody, Duke, Spicer, one of us. We'll send it to you. It is better than the first episode of Yellowstone to me. It was just artwork. Like it was so well planned. It was the start to that point in time. I
Yeah.
think it was.
Oh
I don't think it
gosh,
could have
was
been
great.
presented, or even the sound was.
Yeah.
Was great. And y'all were on. Whoever was playing with the computer, was Natalie doing the computer while you were talking, or?
I had a remote.
Okay. Well,
Gosh.
that was good timing
Yeah.
with everything.
Yeah.
The electronics did work in your favor, so it was.
That was a big piece because I don't know if y'all remember, but that was actually the second time Natalie and I ever presented to the legislature, because we went down there 30 days after the
It
town
wasn't that
hall.
good though.
No, we didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know up from down with this whole
Right.
thing.
Yeah. That one was artwork. That one was
Yeah.
time, and I mean, you can look at those numbers and be like, now what do you got? Well, Joe. Well, unfortunately, the thing that we wanted was Joe Porfiry to show up so we could get answers, because
But
we're-
it was so far over there to the Capitol.
Oh, 100 feet?
I mean, gosh, how would he
So-
even have made it?
well, what, a week later he was down here with ice playing around. You know, maybe it's
Drove all the way to the prison property to meet ICE, but could not stumble.
maybe his
the parking
mileage
lot.
works about as good as his numbers, because spent $1 million on a culvert out there, yet he can't walk 100 feet across the road.
Look, being held accountable is tough.
Yeah.
Woo! And he just opens himself up for it.
So Adam, give us an update here. Kind of maybe explain to everybody kind of where we're at on this, and where it's leading us.
Sure. So, ALC review was last Tuesday, a couple days ago. And for anybody that's not, ultra dialed in on it, like all of us are,
I don't know. ALC is
Legislative Council Review Subcommittee. So what they do is approve contracts with the state.
right.
So the next step for the prison before we can get any more answers is ALC review approving the design and engineering contract.
Yeah.
That's worth about $60 million.
So explain that contract to who wouldn't know. So the Board of Corrections, start with that, and
Sure.
then work your way to where it's at now.
Sure. So the Board of Corrections and Shared Administration of Shared Services went through a procurement process, bidding process, ultimately selected 2 firms. They were looking for one with local experience and then a national firm to offer support services. So for design and engineering, they selected HDR out of Omaha, Nebraska. And then
That's not Arkansas, right? Not Arkansas. Okay, Nebraska. got it.
apparently it depends who you ask.
Yeah, Nebraska.
And then the local leg of that is going to be Cromwell. So when you hear us say HDR Cromwell, that's 2 separate companies.
Yep.
But that's the contract that we're looking at. It was drafted up. It was presented to BOC, the Board of Corrections. It was approved. So the way procurement works in Arkansas is like, once that step happens, the next step before finalization is it getting approved by the legislature. Legislature's not in session right now, so that reverts to the Legislative Council. Legislative Council has subcommittees, and the one that deals with contract approvals is review. So this past Tuesday, when they met, it wasn't on the agenda. It wasn't taken up. No vote was taken. No vote's ever been taken because it never been presented to the review subcommittee. But I think what was special about Tuesday is that it marked the 6th meeting in a row. They meet once a month. So we're at the point where I call it a stalemate. We're at a stalemate where,
Yeah.
they're not going to present it until they have the votes. They're not going to have the votes until we have more answers. And we're not going to get more answers without the contract.
Yep.
We're at this kind of catch-22 of nobody can give each other what they want.
And I could easily say, I could say this confidently, if they found another site that was suitable and met the criteria, it would pass tomorrow. I confidently feel that we could get enough information quick enough, because they know what answers they need now.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think the bigger issue with this is that the legislature is being told we need to spend $60 million to get answers.
Right.
When, you look at what a feasibility study would actually cost on a property like this, and you're talking $250,000, $500,000. All of that's work that should have been done before the state spent money on the property. But here we are, and we're at the point where they're still saying, you don't get any more answers until we spend $60 million.
Right.
And
Well,
as we've all said, since the funding bill was defeated, we're at a race to spend as much money as we can so that we're stuck in this.
and we say it's going to cost that much because, to my understanding, whenever we sign on this engineer group, they will get a certain percentage of the total cost of the full operation. Is that
so? Yeah, the price of the design and engineering contract is based on a percentage of the construction cost for the facility.
so? We're looking at, if it's $1.2 billion, and what's the number? 3%, 5%, 6%. I think it's 3 to 6% is what I was.
Yeah, I know the owner's rep is like 3.57, so it's probably somewhere in that range.
So we're going to pay veneer not only the 16.9. Is it 16.9 plus 3% of the total cost?
No, so it's 16.5
Yeah.
is 3.5-ish percent. I think it's actually 3.37% of the total budget for the total project.
That's the 825.
No, it's the 425 because it was negotiated before the 825 figure came out. Or 470.
Well, we just talked to veneer last week, and they said,
did.
well, this is so that would almost double what we got to pay them now.
And that's an article that I have out there on Gravel and Grit Substack that traces through what veneer's motivations would be, why they are not motivated from a profit perspective to keep the cost low for the state, because the more we spend on the project, the more they get paid.
Absolutely.
So I would very much expect that when all of this kind of calms down, if it ever does,
I want it to.
Well, no.
I want it to calm down.
So I'm kind of stumped here with this one because, I was under the influence after talking to them the other day that they knew that there was going to be they know it's going to be whatever it is, but $850 million, but their contract was written up with 425.
And that's the whole game. So you come in, that's why there's a low ball offer to begin with, right? So you come in and negotiate based on a percentage of a low estimate. Then the estimate goes up. And afterward, you come back to the legislature and say, oh, well, we're working on 3.37%, but of a bad estimate. So we need to amend our contract to get 3.37.
So then they're going to get $40 million just for being the owner's rep. And then you got these engineering companies that are going to get their $30 and $40 million for their percentage of the project, right?
Well, they're going to get $57 million right now. And if it goes up again, then I can see it being very, very same scenario, right? We negotiated as a percentage of 825. Well, now, guys, it's 1.5 billion. Right. So we've got to amend our contract.
My calculator don't go this big, but so if we're looking at a $500 million, $500 million to get water from Fort Smith, $250 million to get it from Ozark, and we're also going to spend another $150-200 million for the engineering / owner's rep. How much money we got left?
But wait, Bart Hester said we'd be crazy to think that we couldn't build it for the 825.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Man, so we'd be crazy.
I mean,
you and Joe Porfirio got the same calculator.
Well, they've already started laying the groundwork for admitting that it's going to be over 825.
You can tell.
And they're blaming the people sitting in this room.
That's a key word. They're putting the groundwork down now to soothe it over for us, just smooth it in.
Do you think with where we're at, do you think they've got enough evidence in front of them to pull the plug?
They absolutely do.
To pull the plug now while they can.
They absolutely do. And it really just comes down to, I think, politics at this point, right? Like who can admit that they made a wrong decision,
or who's going to at this point? Because
I will. I'll tell them they did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to like where's the real leadership in the state, and where are the real control points, right? Because we've seen Board of Corrections stand up when something was done wrong and sue the governor. We've seen the legislature put their foot down and say no to funding 5 times. I think where we're at, we've seen the judiciary stand up and say all of this election nonsense was done the wrong way. I think the one place that we haven't seen is the executive branch show some real leadership. And part of that is saying, hey, we made a mistake, mea culpa, let's go figure it out and figure out how to do it a better way.
Right.
Which brings us to the actual update on the prison, because the update is we're on hold. Nothing's happened for 6 months. Nothing's planned to happen.
Yeah.
from all appearances, it seems that the plan is to try and flip enough votes with the 2026 election and go after funding again in 27. That's an unacceptable situation for the correction system in our state.
Well, the corrections, the sheriffs, they've been giving these false hopes. Now we're over a year in, and it ain't happening. We're going on 2 years in, actually.
So in an effort to change that situation, because the government is not fixing what we're all being told is a crisis, what the sheriffs are telling us is a crisis, I went to the team at Gravel and Grit, which I've stepped back a little bit from just since I'm campaigning. But I went to them and said, hey, let's figure out a solution that moves the ball forward. Because if the government's not going to help, citizens have to stand in the gap. And it's the same thing that we've all been doing since the prison was announced. So they came back and said, hey, what do you think about this idea? And we launched it last week. We put a press release out about it and a sample invitation. But we're going to put a task force together that is representatives of every stakeholder that has an interest in solving these problems. So that's
have y'all read that? Have y'all read that?
I have not.
It is good. It is good. I read it.
Yeah.
So how can they read that? Let's promote Gravel and
Could you
Grit.
do an audio book for me? Because I'm not really a reader.
He's not really a
For you,
Yeah, or a
More
watcher.
pictures.
will it take as long to get the audio set up for me?
Oh man, dude, that was on you, bro.
But people should read that.
Yeah,
I think it's important.
It's on my campaign's Facebook, which is Adam Watson for Arkansas. It's on Gravel and Grit's Facebook.
Right.
It'll be in the news at some point whenever they feel like writing about it. And then we'll also, as it progresses, we'll be releasing regular updates, because the whole point of this is transparent collaboration, putting everybody at the same table and finding real solutions, and trying to actually solve the problems.
Isn't
clearly
that
the
kind of
government
why we
can't.
hire lawmakers to do, though?
It absolutely is, and this is part of the problem that we're having, right?
Because they're not doing their job. The
Right.
majority of them are not doing their job. I mean, I'll openly say that. They do need help in there because, I mean, Brian King is not a independent. He's a hardcore true Republican. Now, would you be able to stand behind Brian King in all this? Beside him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or would you be laying back and quiet in the back corner trying to make friends?
No, I think there's this real misconception about independence that we have to isolate ourselves because we don't get along with anybody.
That is the case. You've got Democrats and you've got two parties. You got Democrats, you got Republicans.
Exactly. So the way that I, and I've put this out there, my version of being an independent is not isolation, it's collaboration.
That's good.
Because we've got to be able to work across aisles
Yeah.
and bring all ideas to the table if we're going to reach the best decision.
How many Republicans are Republicans? How many Democrats are Democrats? So everybody has their own party. You saw how many mixed parties do you see here in this last session, Cody? Duke, Miser?
What do you mean?
Like, how many Republicans are Republicans?
A lot.
In our state Senate?
You mean like rhinos?
Yeah, well, yeah, you call them rhinos, you call them MAGAs.
I mean, you've got
Question.
like MAGAs, never Trumpers, conservatives, rhinos.
And I'm talking in our little state of Arkansas. The way they vote, what they vote for is not conservative values.
Right.
Oh, okay. I get I just didn't know what you're going at.
There are different types of, I mean, I wouldn't call them a Republican, but they got an order by their name.
Right.
And some of the Democrats, they're, you get those far leaning, well,
Hey,
Yeah, I think
it is what it is. They'll tell you to run Republican if you want to win.
And I think that's
Oh.
really emblematic of why I ended up as
I don't know what that word means, but I agree with you.
it's a good example
Okay.
of why
absolutely. Just say yes.
yeah. Of why I ended up as an independent, and I think if anything would put people's minds at ease about that decision is that I had a handful of Republicans ask me to run as a Republican, and I had a handful of Democrats ask me to run as a Democrat, and neither is a good fit for where I am. And I think what the district needs to protect itself from the onslaught that it's facing right now, but also to start moving the ball forward.
Well, I was one that tried to pressure him into being a Republican.
That is true. I wasn't going to name names.
And I'll tell you why. Well, I've already swapped. I'm libertarian now. But and a Democrat and a Republican. I'm all three. But I will tell you.
Trifecta.
Yep. I will tell you this. The Republican Party is not. The majority of them are not your Ronnie Caldwells, your Brian Kings, your Jimmy Hickeys, those guys, your Gary Stubblefields. I mean, we need more people like that in there.
Yeah.
That's why they were so precious to us. I mean, you didn't have to worry about Gary Stubblefield. We kind of talked about this the other night, and you didn't have to worry about how he was going to vote. You didn't have to worry about, and uh, hey, I may be jumping around, but we got early. I want to put Adam on the spot with this independent thing, and so Adam, you're running independent in Franklin County. I mean, come on, man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, I think it's an accurate sentiment, right?
Yeah.
Because it's an extremely conservative, not only county but district.
Sure.
But I think the trouble that I have is that when somebody runs as a Republican, you don't know what you're going to get. And they're going to stand for the same values: pro-life, no taxes, pro-2A.
Yeah.
And that's the whole campaign, because you're a Republican, so you don't really get to have a platform outside of that. And look, the issue that I have with it is from the get-go, we look at something like the special election, and we weren't going to have representation for 427
Oh
days.
my gosh.
Well, look, I'm not running as a Democrat, but to give them their credit, they went out and sued the governor.
Yeah.
Well, the Republican Party would not stand behind me.
And that's my exact point.
Yeah.
We couldn't even get a statement from the Republican Party saying, "Aw shucks, that's terrible. We wish you would have representation.
Yeah.
Best of luck." We couldn't even get that.
Right.
All that we got was a statement after the lawsuit was filed attacking the DPA. And from where I sit, we are never going to come to good policy decisions if all of our time, energy, and effort is spent attacking the other side instead of talking about the issues.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all at the table this. Do you see things changing in the Republican Party because of Sarah Sanders?
Yeah, I see it turning blue.
Yeah.
I see blue in the near future.
I'm just being honest, man.
There's a big divide.
Yeah.
It's dividing.
Now, and then, I'm Republican. I run shoot my mouth off about being Republican and stuff. But there's been several times through this deal where I'm like, man, she is wrecking the Republican Party.
But it isn't her; it's everybody under her too.
Well,
at any point, someone could stand up. Look at your Brian
a lot of
Norris.
layers.
She's the
Yeah.
boss. Yeah. But anyway, so I mean,
You may not have a job.
right.
Well, and let me say just something about that too. I think I still could have run as a Republican and just said, well, I'm not that kind of Republican.
Yeah.
But given everything that we're facing right now in District 26, I did not want there to be any misconception.
Absolutely.
And I also don't think it's my job to fix the party. The job that I'm applying for is to represent the people of this.
The party that wouldn't stand behind us to get you in there and get you elected. That party. Yeah. I'm pretty aggravated at myself.
Yeah.
So,
But Franklin County Republicans, Johnson County Republicans, Sebastian County, which I can't get a hold of her, Kelly Proctor Pierce, she doesn't do good at answering her phone ever. Her and John Eubanks must have the same number.
Go to the ballot draw.
Yeah. Maybe, well, she'd never answered her phone at all. But and then Logan County, everybody's pretty big supporters of Republicans in all four counties there.
Yeah.
And their actual Republican Party, because I've been to all of them, is very strong, but they're not all for Sarah Sanders or Joseph Woods. Yeah, these are not Republicans. And that's why I had you read that of what a Republican stands by. I was like, you are a Republican, you just don't know it.
Well, and I think that there's a kind of a awakening going on within the party right now, that people are starting to understand that Republicanism in Arkansas and conservatism are not necessarily aligned.
Not at all.
Does appear that way.
Yeah.
So before we move on here, just for the people of District 26, so what will you do to reach out for like constituents? Are you going to take in? We see it a lot. We elect people, we get them in there, we think they're great, they're going to do all the right things, and then they
Pieces
totally
of shit.
forget about the people. Totally forget about the people
There's
that
one.
they got them there, and then they just run their own thing.
Sure.
They don't reach back out to those constituents, and I think that's important for people to hear. Is, will you be able to do that? Will you do that? And what does that look like?
How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And part of my platform is going to be increasing legislative access for citizens. And that's not just access to
Right
me.
on.
That's access to the process, right? Because through doing all the work that we did over the last session in Little Rock, we had repeated frustrations with voice votes, with agendas not being followed, it takes us 2
Well,
hours.
we know the problems. What's the fix?
Well, the fix is a lot of very boring legislative fixes down in Little Rock.
Name a
right?
couple.
Like,
Give me
well,
three. Three good examples.
just like what I was talking about, stick to agendas when you set something on a committee meeting. Get rid of voice votes if it's not a unanimous vote, so
my
people
gosh,
know where you stand.
I think Joe Porfiry, you see, we've learned this through life lessons, like you said.
Absolutely.
Because I think Joe Porfiry, now it was Tyler Dees in there that didn't want him subpoenaed, and he should have been. He deserved to be. The taxpayers of all of Arkansas deserved to hear Joe Porfiry's statement in that room.
Right.
I was hot. I really wanted them to arrest him and bring him in handcuffs and beat him up.
I'm going around telling everybody like, "Hey, man, you need to show up to this deal." Like,
Joe,
they're going to be subpoenaed.
We finally got Joe Porfiry.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I think that's a way that a lot of people feel about a lot of different things, right? And we were very much watching one issue and hyper focused on one thing, and that got to us that much. But you have a lot of people that they watch a lot, they care about a lot, and they take days off from work and go down to Little Rock, and somebody sees them and pulls their bill off of the agenda because they don't want to hear from the public. We've got to fix those things.
Accountability.
So those are two things to fix.
Well, if you was doing the wrong thing, would you want to hear from the person talking about the right thing?
Yeah.
I would, because it means I'm not doing my job, and I'm the kind of person that
You say that early on, but
Sure.
I mean, there is one thing for sure: is you can't make everybody happy.
I'm not a taco. I can't make everybody happy.
That's
But look, at the end of the
Okay.
day, I think another thing that's important here is that I have a track record of working with integrity and working with the community and working across the aisle and building the necessary relationships for the past year before there was any political opportunity in this fight. Not to say which would be a Brian King line, but
we like those.
we were fighting the prison before fighting the prison was cool,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
yeah.
So this is just, literally I'm in the position that I'm in because I feel like we've done everything that we can possibly freaking do as private citizens.
And then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
We've moved
lots of-
mountains.
How many hours do you think is taken away from your family?
Like, no.
Do you get yelled at like that?
Do you get hit?
Often.
Do you get hit like he does?
She's not violent, but
We're gonna need some legislation on spousal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to work on family law, dude.
Yeah.
Family
Yeah.
law.
And
So we covered everything. Have we covered everything independent? That I think we need to
Yeah, I
talk
think we
about?
got independent.
Because there's a fun one coming up.
I do want to touch a little base more on the local involvement there of something.
let me give you one more point, because we did two that are things, to fix down in the legislature. But on the citizenry side, it's incredibly difficult when you're talking about voting on 1,200 bills during a session. It's hard to stay informed. It's hard to get in touch with your legislator to express your opinion. We live in 2025. It'll be 2026 by then. There's no reason we can't do these things online. So one of the things that I intend to do, that we've already started working on, is build a legislative access message board. So every bill that gets filed goes into the message board, has a description of what it does, how it would affect the district. And then everybody that's a constituent can log on and say, hey, this is what my opinion is on this. So not only do I hear the arguments for and against, but I know how the district feels about it. So
Yeah.
nobody's surprised when I go vote a way that doesn't align with
Right.
either party that you may expect.
That's a really good option.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because people we've using the word awaken and getting involved now. I don't want to say this has been some good things has come out of this, but some good things have come out of this, and people have woken up.
Whoa.
And,
People gotten woke.
They get woken up. They've hey, they're all of a sudden, man, I'm just saying, I've said it all around. It's just a weird thing. People don't think they can approach their senator like, oh, he's a senator. He's got this, and he's rich, and he's got a mansion, and he's powerful. When they're just like us.
Well, listen, I can promise you that I'm none of those things.
Yeah.
And
none of them have a suit as nice as Spicer's.
Yeah.
Spicer looks like Donald J. Trump when he walks in a room in that suit.
Minus the hair.
But you want people to be able to come up and just be like, at the at the store, like, hey Adam, hey man, and approach you. And people are doing that now.
100%.
I can see it in this district, in this area. People are more involved now because they've I mean, I'm not saying they're going woke, but their eyes are open to, well, maybe I should have contacted well, have you contacted them? No. So I think it's a big thing.
Well, and listen, just as far as that goes, we'll do something crazy. Y'all can pause it here and rewind if you need to, but 479-275-9573. My personal cell phone
Oh my
sitting right over
gosh.
there.
I'd never
Call.
do that.
You better
But
do
that's
that.
good. That's right.
I
Yeah.
can't
Right.
look, the job description is representing the constituents of this district.
Yep.
I cannot do that job if I don't hear from them.
You know, we
That's
talked
absolutely.
about
I agree.
last podcast was how Greg Leding would have a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody meet up at the coffee shop. I don't know how many people ever showed up. Do you know?
He regularly had enough that he had to move the venue.
Wow,
So
good
a
for him.
decent amount, and he would do coffee shops in the morning and breweries in the evening. I think
That's awesome.
a different
brewery.
He never advertised that to me, but yeah, I think it should be in a bar.
Yeah, that.
Just throwing that out there. I think.
But that's so easy to do, and so common.
I'll be back.
I wish more. When I say people are waking up, maybe that's the norm.
It
Someday.
should be the norm.
It could be the norm.
It should be, and we've got to move away from exclusionary politics because people can't participate in the process.
Sure,
we've gone way too far off the rails.
Yeah. I used to Lacey Nassel Clark. I started with her on the JP board in Franklin County, and we begged people to come for public input. And I would say, hey, come over there and let me have it. Come over there and let Lacey have it. Come over there and let the sheriff have it. Come be involved with your community. And so I'm hoping that happens, where it's just a normal, like, I heard they're fixing to pass some kind of gun raise. Like, well, shoot, I'm texting Adam right now. It needs to be that easy.
And that's exactly how easy I want it to be.
Yeah.
So look, if walking up to me in public is, for whatever reason, too intimidating, I don't bite. Come say hi anytime. Text me, call me, social media.
Right.
I've got everything on there. Send an email through the website. If we can get this comment board loaded up, use that. We can make it anonymous. I mean, I want to give the citizens every tool that they need,
Absolutely,
so that they feel comfortable.
And they're going to have to have it. They're going to have it. If you've been in politics and you've held office, you know that the public needs to be steered. If not, they'll just sit in their chair and look at Facebook and do nothing.
Sure.
But you want them to be involved in. I including myself, you want an easy process.
Well, without the public involvement, because you get the minds of every different type of occupation
Like
that's out
cult.
there.
That's right.
Yeah, well, oil field workers aren't really big around here, so mine's doesn't count as much. But you got your people that work at the grocery shop, the feed store, the chicken houses, the poultry industry. That is a big one that really needs some help. Is people like that, people that live here to help this district out. We need them to be prosperous, and to do that, we need somebody in there that'll fight for them, that'll listen to them, that'll look for laws and bills. Brad Hall did a great one with Denali, and nobody even heard about it. Right? Like, he never advertised. I think that stuff needs to be bragged about and talked about. But the smell law,
Yeah.
Because I looked at it before. I looked at it like, man, if I owned 5,000 acres and I wanted to put something down to keep to work for Lime to save me hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, it's my property. I'm going to do it. But then when you look at the other end of it, Casey, you don't own 5,000 acres.
It stinks.
What's it smell like?
Well, I say it smells like money.
Yeah.
If it's chicken litter, I say it smells like money.
I just make sure I turn my air conditioner off when I'm passing by.
Yeah, but
recirculate
the valley. They
they
didn't even know this went on, though, that Brad did that. And Brad, I'll tell you the story, because talking to him, he went down there. He talked to Denali in a nice way. He's like, hey, look, I'm a state rep for Arkansas, and I want to know if we can work out a deal here. He said they snooted him off like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So he said, all right, well, I'll fix your
Then we'll
goose.
do that. Yeah.
So they went down to the Senate, or the state Senate, passed a law. Him and James Eaton and Chad got together, wrote up some bills, and Denali got shut down over there, and they're not, delivering that waste and people's pastures next to those houses.
And let me retract that. When I say talking about chicken litter and Denali, two different things.
Oh,
Completely.
totally.
So when I say it smells like money, don't.
Casey's got his firsthand. That stuff's still oozing up out of the ground too.
Oh yeah, their waste is comes in several forms.
And I'll say this, I know it's bad, and you're probably gonna edit it out, but they were finding tampons and
Oh my
condoms in the
gosh.
fields.
Well,
I mean,
you
it's
know,
true. I mean,
lovely.
there's
They
there's
were.
no reason. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it
blah,
was.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's. Oh, you got some? You want to touch on that anymore?
No, I'll just I appreciate the way you've got this set up. I think you give an opportunity for all the constituents here is to one, if you're going out and you're holding events for the people that can make it, and then if the people can't make it, you have that online opportunity.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
But when you do good things, if you get in there and you do good things, brag about it. Let the people see it.
I don't think it's necessarily bragging about it. What I think it is legislating is very boring and it's very detailed and it's very kind of high level thought experiments.
I
Right?
watched Alan Clark try to pass a bill that you could run a red light last year. It's not very detailed.
Okay, well, not all of them are that much fun.
You could run a red light with nobody looking.
But
We'll talk about that with the sheriff when he comes on.
Yeah.
I think part of doing good work and in fighting against bad work is breaking that down and explaining what it does and making that accessible. Because the more you can do that, the more people understand and the more people feel like it actually matters to them, the more they want to participate. And that's the end goal, right? It's to up our participation numbers. And that's not just with turning out to vote. It's everything in between.
Let's move on.
Well,
You had enough, Duke.
Yeah.
well, we
That's
covered
it.
a lot. We covered a lot
We
today,
did.
you know,
Yeah,
but
that was a lot of good.
So this
insights
is-
there, and we covered more.
Duke, let me set you up for this because I know you love these next 4 letters.
FOIA.
FOIA. What do you think about FOIA?
Well, what can a senator do about FOIA?
Well, I got 2 questions for you on the FOIA.
Sure.
One is maybe talk a little bit about how you know obviously how you got these documents and how we've gone through a lot of those, and then 2, let's touch on FOIA being gutted.
Yeah.
That's a long one. That's very long.
Yeah.
Make it short.
Well, I mean,
make
I
it
just wanna
short.
touch on it.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
A lot of people
So,
may not even know.
okay, so just to start, FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act. It's how citizens can request documents from their government to try and figure out what's going on down in Little Rock, right? There's obviously restrictions to that. I think some of those restrictions are reasonable, some of them are not reasonable. Through the prison fight, I think that was one of the first things that we jumped into as a tool, because if you're approaching a problem with the state government from a everyday citizen perspective, you've got to figure out what's in your toolbox. You know, you've got private litigation, you've got approaching your legislators. A big one of those things is FOIA, because step 1 is trying to figure out what's going on, what the story is, and what's happened so far. So, you know, we went through the process of sending, I don't even know how many FOIAs by this point. We got tons of documents back, and that's how we started building not necessarily a case against the prison, just a story about what's happened, what's transpired, how it went down, what was done, what wasn't done, who was talked to, all of those things. I always say what I think is the most interesting about our FOIA experience with the prison is that my personal FOIA is having all of this legal experience didn't turn much up. And I don't know if it's because of the way that I worded it. They knew that I was serious
They could
about
tell,
it.
yeah.
But
I could get the information, but
the best thing that I did, that we did, I'm not taking credit for that. The best thing we did was teach the community how to use the tool.
Sure.
Yeah,
Because
if you misspell a few words and when you're typing it out, then you kind of act like well, I wasn't acting. You don't know what you're doing, they'll send you stuff.
in the other way that I phrase it, which you can edit out if you want, but you get a bunch of pissed off farmers wanting documents and learning how they can obtain them.
Yeah.
They're going to get the documents.
Yeah.
And we make friends.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, a ton of that work was Colt getting 20,000 pages back and sending them to me and say, hey, you don't have Friday night plans anymore. You're doing this.
Oh my gosh.
Which, you know,
Let me know if you find anything good.
right. Which was great. It was great. It was a great tool. We wouldn't be where we are with the prison
100%.
without that tool.
That's right.
But one of the downsides and the drawbacks of it are some of the limitations.
Big time, because you'd get an email trail and it would end. And you're like, you almost got the puzzle put together, and then it's the piece is gone. It didn't even come in the box.
Right.
So now we're calling the manufacturer trying to get that puzzle piece back. and they won't give it.
And those limitations come from a couple different things. They come from the special session that you were referring to that clawed back some of the rights to access information in the governor's office. But they also come from this weird patchwork of statute and attorney general opinions that aren't officially law, but it's how the AG is saying that you would interpret law.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
whatever attorney is,
They've been losing a lot here lately at that interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Uh-huh.
But whatever attorney or employee is reviewing your request gets to pick and choose which one of those it falls under as a reason to deny it. So where we've had the most trouble is getting information directly from the governor's office,
Yeah.
and most specifically Joe Porfiry.
Joe.
It's just been a complete brick wall. If it originated with him or was sent to him, it's a, thanks, but no thanks. We're not going to talk about it.
I bet he's using that signal now for everything.
Gosh.
Encrypted.
Hey, that may be leakier than anything else,
Who knows?
given
Yeah.
recent history, though. So that's an area that needs to be fixed, right? We need to figure out what of those AG opinions is going to be law and codify it. Whatever gets codified needs to be put into the Constitution as an amendment, so future legislatures can't change that because
Yeah.
the citizens need access to those rights. And then on the enforcement side, we also have a problem that the only remedy for a violation of FOIA is a private lawsuit. So when you're
It costs you a lot of money unless you got a lawyer that'll put the money up front and say, hey, I'll get it back from the state, like your Joey McCutcheon.
exactly. So there are states out there that have public enforcement of FOIA, where you can go to the AG and say, hey, this is what happened. Here's the evidence. And they will file suit if the evidence supports.
That's how it needs to be. That is how it needs to be, because I mean, why not just be honest?
Sure.
Right? Like, I don't know why Sarah Sanders got in there and just gutted it right from the gate, as you worded it, Duke.
Yeah.
But why not just be honest? Like, what in Arkansas could you have to hide?
Prison.
Well, yeah, like wasn't one of the big ones like
No. Why?
wasn't one of
Why?
the big reasons supposed to be like her safety and
Or
her
children's
family's safety, and
Children's safety.
where
Well,
they're going to be.
And that's why I say that some of the restrictions we have on the books make sense.
We wish she
There
would
are
be in
some
Washington,
things-
D.C., somewhere else, like scrubbing carpets or shampooing carpets, sweeping off leaves, something.
What'd you say? Who?
But even though,
Sarah Sanders.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that stuff ends up in the past at some point, but we still can't talk about it.
Right. And the argument there is that it, specifically with security things, that it shows a pattern of behavior and vendors and contracts and timing and schedules that could allow somebody to figure out a pattern of behavior in the future and pose a threat.
Sounds like a load of, what's the new word?
Sure.
Nobody
Yeah,
cares. Sorry, Sarah. Nobody really
Oh.
gives two shits what you're doing.
Well,
Yeah.
reasonable or unreasonable,
That's a plural.
that
said I could say
restriction
that.
has been applied to much more than security details, right? Joe Porfiry has nothing to do with Sarah Sanders' security. So fixes, like I said, we've got to codify AG opinions. We've got to put whatever is in our law into the Constitution, because we've got to stop changing these things. We've got to open it up as much as possible for the citizens. And then we need a public cause of action that is going to be enforceable without, everybody spending a boatload of money and a boatload of court
So
time.
they had some stuff trying to gut the FOIA more, try to pass session last year.
This past session was interesting because there were kind of competing FOIA bills to change a couple of things, and both of them couldn't have passed because they would have been conflicting in law. And there was a lot of argument about, ratcheting one down and turning the other one up, and how do we get to the same level of what we're actually trying to do. That had more to do with open meetings than document requests, which FOIA also covers. Any meeting of the government that's more than two people is supposed to be open to the public, recorded, and accessible via FOIA.
Conflict in
So-
law seems to be pretty popular
Well,
right now.
And look, if you want to talk about a whole nuts and bolts of
and
legislating
it
issue,
may take
that's-
a new AG to make all this stuff go away, and I foresee that in poor Tim's future.
Yeah.
Probably something I shouldn't comment on.
That's true.
Well,
Court.
I don't think I don't know if I'm qualified. I could probably do that too.
Let's cover.
I'll go for that one next.
What's the first word of AG?
Attorney?
Yeah.
I don't
You have
care.
a law degree?
I absolutely do.
Google. Come on.
I'm about as qualified as Sarah Sanders.
Hey, you
what
may
do
be
you call it?
To
you
be
may
the
be as
governor.
qualified.
Huh?
You could, I mean, maybe not technically, but You may know just as much.
Yeah, mentally.
Start now.
Mentally.
Start now. Nobody's running
I
against
will.
him.
I will start going in and hitting all the massage parlors. Then boom, I'm Tim Griffin.
Next question.
We're getting towards the end.
He shuts them down. Maybe I should have worded that a little
That's
better.
right.
He does shut them down.
We still got a few things to run through here, and we're getting it close here on time. Local control.
We done
Well, I
talked
mean,
about
we've
that.
kind of
We kind of hit on local
Yeah,
control.
we done got that one.
And
Yep. He forgot.
no. Well, that's our
well, I just didn't know if you had something else that you.
I mean, just in a nutshell, we've got to involve the communities that are going to be most affected by state decisions in those decisions, and before the fact, not after the fact. We cannot do things like we've done in the prison, because otherwise we just are going to repeatedly find ourselves in the situation where the citizens are fighting their own government. And that's not healthy for Arkansas. That's not a good way to try and move the ball forward. So if we need something, we need something. It may not be popular with everybody, but somebody will want it. Somebody will accept it. So let's sit down, get everybody at the table, and have this.
So I think we've covered everything that we talked about we was going to do. But one thing that we haven't, Adam, that I'd like to hear is, why are you running?
That's a great question. And I think it goes back to the first topic that we talked about, like getting involved with the prison was a decision that I made because I am not the kind of person that.
But you're not running because of the prison. So in a whole nutshell, why are you running to be the state senator of Senate District 26? It ain't the prison. It ain't just the prison, but.
No, it's not, but it's everything that stems from the prison. And it is just, it's not in my DNA to sit at home and not do anything when there is something to be done.
Yeah.
I think
you've learned along the way.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot along the way. Every topic that we talked about tonight stems from the prison. So it's not because of the prison, but it has a lot to do with it because of everything that piles on top of each other to lead.
Do you have a certain thing in mind, like your top 3 things you would like to really put emphasis on?
As far as
like education, crime.
Well, let's ask him like we did
economic.
Brian Norris. So Brian Norris was on the show. We, bless his heart, running for Secretary of State, and we've pretty much backed him into a corner when he's talking about being the same things you are, being open to the public, having the public involved. And he said, I'm going to open my door. And I was like, you know what, to take off the hinges. And like, yeah, we're taking off. He said, yeah, I'll do it. So now I make sure about every few days I put that on his Facebook page, because when he wins this deal and he goes in the office, I'm going down there with some pliers and screwdriver, and we're going to take the hinges off.
Johnny Crocker might be there to get you when you get back to Franklin County for that.
Well, look,
I don't know if you can steal doors out of the Capitol.
Not
maybe
steal the door, take it off the hinges.
If I win, they may not even give me an office. So.
That's right. Sit out in your car
Be down there in the
and
basement.
Zoom. But well, hey, we are getting towards the end. We need to start wrapping it up. And
can we get one more question?
Yeah.
Can we ease the minds of the voters running as independent take on the Second Amendment?
Yeah, and I answered this in the town hall the other night. So go back and watch the Resident News Network town hall if you haven't yet. But having a background in law, one of the phrases that we just laughed about all the time in contracts was the difference between will versus shall. And in the Second Amendment, it says shall. I think that's intentional. I think that it's meaningful. I don't think everything may be where it needs to be right now. And I think that's evidenced by the legislature handing down a constitutional amendment for it in 2026, right? But it's also not an area that I'm a subject matter on. So I have no intention of going in there and limiting any rights that are protected by the Constitution, whether that's Second Amendment or anything else. But as far as current statutes, what needs to be repealed, what needs to be tightened up, what needs to be broadened, what needs to be loosened, part of the job is going to be relying on folks in the community who have a vested interest in it, who that is their subject, and then subject matter experts to figure out, the nuts and bolts of it. What does it mean? What do we need to do to make it better? And I'm open to that conversation 24/7.
Well, and kind of before Eric, kind of like we were talking about before we started recording, is during the recording, several times you have talked about your constituents and things that if you didn't know, or things that might Second Amendment be a good one. Hey, meet you at the coffee shop. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and that's part of the legislative access, right? Which
Yeah.
is one of the center points. If it was going to be three things, that would be one of them. Legislators don't know everything. It's
Right.
not our job to know everything.
Right.
Our job is to represent the community's voice.
That's
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of like if you was going to be a professional bull rider, I hope you'd give me a call. And I could talk you through it.
I absolutely would.
But one thing about the state, being a state senator or even a rep, but a senator to me is a little bit more because it's 3-1, right? You're 3-1 to the House.
Sure.
And you're representing the whole state.
Sure.
You do have your district, of course, but because 354 brings me back to all this. That decision that they're making is based off the whole state, not just District 26, 27, 28. It's the whole state.
No, it absolutely every decision, especially when there's funds involved, which almost all of them are, right? You have to think of it like a balloon. If you contract it somewhere, you expand it somewhere else. The budget only goes so far. So to the extent that I'm trying to do something that in principle helps my district, I do have to also realize that it may hurt another part of the state or it may hurt the state overall. So there's a lot of consideration outside of just what the district thinks, but the driving force has to be the district's opinion because that's the job.
Yeah.
Right.
So would you say you're, I'm not just with the Second Amendment and such, but would you say you're pro-Constitution?
Yeah.
Aim to
Constitutionalist.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to an annoying degree. If you ever want to have a conversation about the legalities of it and how all of that works.
Oh man, I just absolutely love to.
No, you'll absolutely
Well,
regret
someday
it.
when you go to when you're with our Adam and we go to say Denver, we'll go to Salina and take a left, and then we have enough time to have that conversation. If anybody's went 70 west,
there's nothing.
Or we could just drive 40 out to the prison.
True.
Takes plenty of time.
Takes forever.
Yeah, but you got curves and narrow roads there.
Well, have we tried him every way we can, and we throwed him in? We
were easy with Adam, but he's an independent, and we got to feel sorry for him. He's the underdog. We got to give him a little slack. But his election won't come until March
3rd.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't have to do the primary, so he gets out of the easy one. His is the big daddy. He gets automatically a free pass all the way to the big league.
Well, listen, it's not automatic, and it's certainly not.
And that'll be and we need to make it one of the biggest elections that Franklin County, Johnson County, Sebastian County's ever seen.
And that's 100% the most important point. I would love everybody to get out on March 3rd and vote for me, but regardless of who you vote for, get out and vote.
We need to
show up and vote.
We need to show them what Franklin County has got
in the whole district. I mean, I was thinking about it yesterday, and Greenwood was the first city to come out against this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Like everybody knows that this takes all of us.
And you got two folks from Greenwood running.
They do.
Yeah. Well, I think we could definitely have a part 2 here. I know we had some topics up here, and you've been heavily involved with the prison, so we went down that road pretty deep. But yeah, I think there possibly definitely be a part 2.
Well,
Adam's
not. He ain't got nothing going on. He can come back.
10 minutes down the road, feeds the chickens and ducks, and comes on.
Yeah, I appreciate you elaborating on the things that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
no,
right.
Absolutely. And seriously, happy to come back anytime.
Yeah.
Always great chatting with
It's
you.
good to have the conversation.
It is.
It's good to have the conversation. So
we're not judging you for being an independent, Adam. We still like you, kind of.
Hey, I'm telling you, when you said to vote, we want people to vote.
No, I'm libertarian.
Vote. Vote.
That is the most important thing. Show up and vote. And I know it's not, we have pretty crummy turnout numbers to begin with. They're worse for primaries.
Yeah.
Let's make it a point. Look, you want to send a message to Little Rock, turn up at the polls.
Right. Absolutely. Good way to put it. Well, we're going to, if it's good for everybody, we'll start wrapping up this episode 9 of Franklin County Rough Riders podcast number 9. Adam Watson running for District 26 State Senate. Adam, real quick, before we shut her off.
How many times have we said real quick?
Well, I know because it does never quick. How can they reach you and get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, probably poor decision made on my part to give my cell phone number out earlier, but I'll go ahead and do it again. It's 479-275-9573. Adam Watson for Arkansas on Facebook, Watson for AR on Instagram, TikTok, and X, and then watsonforarkansas.com.
No Insta?
Have you put anything on
Have you
put anything on MySpace yet, or are you gonna just let that go?
I couldn't find it.
Okay. All right. I'll let you go.
Is that your phone ringing?
It very well may be. Is this live?
Adam, thanks a lot, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for
thank you,
having me.
Adam.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on.
That's a wrap.
That's it. We're done.